Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on ForgottenWeapons.com. I'm Ian McCullum, and I'm here today at Morphy's taking a look at this very fancy, very nice single-shot 22 caliber target pistol that is, I think, really a product of its age. Now, we don't know exactly, or I don't know exactly when this was manufactured, but it was in the interwar period in probably the late 20s or 1930s, in between when the German economy was a complete wreck after World War I, but before the Nazi rearmament really got going full speed in the lead up to World War II. This is a pistol that was sold by the Gustav Genschau company, also known as Gecko. Now, Gecko was a firm that was founded in the late 1800s and went on to become very successful during the interwar period. You may be familiar with the Ortgies pistols that were manufactured right after World War I. Well, Gustav Genschau purchased the Ortgies factory in 1924 because of the problems that that company had making a profit and making its expenses under the limitations of Versailles. Genschau, or Gecko, the abbreviation for his company, would become a major player in sporting arms and in ammunition manufacture. And actually, they still exist more or less to this day as a subsidiary or a wholly owned company under the umbrella of Dynamit Nobel. But they really hit their high point in the 20s and 30s. World War II, not so great for the company. But what we have here is, I think, an example of really the finest you could get in a quasi-custom target pistol from the interwar period. So let's take a closer look at this thing. What we have here is a Martini style of single-shot pistol. So there is a loading lever, an action lever here. When I pull this lever down, it's going to open the breech block, and if I pull it all the way down, it's going to operate that ejector to kick the empty case out. I would then manually load a new 22 rimfire shell in, lift the lever up, lock it in place, and it's ready to fire. Now, this is very much a right-handed gun with this big, huge thumb rest on the left side. And so while you're shooting it like this, you would probably be using your offhand to load and unload it. And the reason being, if you're doing serious target shooting, you want to maintain the same grip. Consistency is everything for target shooting, and what you don't want to do is get a firing grip, shoot one round, and then come over here and break your grip in order to mess with the lever with your right thumb. Like, you can sort of do that, but then you come back in and you gotta, okay, get the proper grip back. That's not conducive to making a really good grouping. So instead, you get your grip in proper place and then use your offhand to operate the action. We have a couple markings on here. We actually have on the far side of the barrel, Venus Pistole and caliber 22 long rifle, clearly made for export. It's a little hard to read this because it's faded quite a lot, but on the top, in a German sort of script, we have G Genschau. The G-E-N-S up there is easy to read. The C-H-O-W has faded almost totally off. There you go. You can just barely still see it. G Genschau and Company, AG Company in Hamburg. So it's most likely that this was manufactured by someone else and marketed by Genschau. They did have a factory. They had that Ortgies factory where they manufactured 22 caliber sporting rifles. But I haven't, it's hard to say. I haven't been able to find this specifically in their catalog. But I don't have a lot of their catalog examples to take a look at. So it's possible they made this themselves. I suspect it is a gun that was made for them as a larger retailer. Now, this particular one was exported to the United Kingdom because we can see a whole set of British proofs here. The British required proofing of a lot of foreign guns that came into the UK. These proof marks indicate that this was done between 1925 and 1954, but this is definitely a pre-World War II gun. So sometime between 25 and probably 38 or so. It's also worth pointing out we have a British caliber, 22LR, and of course not English made, which is a required part of the British proofing standards. You would put that on a very nice gun you'd put that on a foreign gun so that people knew it was well done. No, I'm kidding. They put it on there because there was sort of a nationalistic thing of, you know, well, who would ever want to trust a non-English made gun? So we'd better mark that so that people know exactly what they're getting and that they ought to, you know, buy local and get a British made gun. Anyway, we have a serial number here, which is repeated on the barrel below the wood line where you can't really quite see it. And above that serial number, we actually have another repetition of not English made and another proof mark. Not uncommon for the proofing to be required on both the barrel and the receiver. What really stands out about this, though, is the really nice engraving on it. We got this guy out in the forest there on the left side, and then some nice scrolly sort of decorative work on the right side. Some nice checkering, decorative checkering on the forend. A nice shape to the grip. Good checkering here to give it some texture. We've got some more decorative elements on the trigger guard and on the frame on the bottom of the grip. The sights are mounted as far back as possible on the receiver to give you the longest possible sight radius. The rear sight notch itself is absolutely minuscule, really, really small there, and fully adjustable, obviously, for windage and elevation. It is also worth pointing out here that that is a U-shaped notch. You do have your choice of two other notches. If you would prefer a V, you can roll it to that, or a slightly, oh, that's kind of sharp, a slightly different U notch, and then a slightly tapered front post to go along with it. I wish I had the shooting skill to really fully exploit the capability of something like this. With its massively long sight radius, very fine sights, nice trigger, target grips, you could shoot very nicely with this, I suspect. The bore is actually still in fantastic condition, which really isn't a surprise, given that it's 22 caliber rimfire. But unfortunately, I am well and truly out of practice, and actually, to be honest, in my best days, this would have been a pistol that could definitely outclass me. Anyway, I thought it would be a pretty cool one to show to you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.